Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. The other day I made a video making something like this. Well, there it is back in the back of the picture. But I used Boxit's pedestal, and then I could not figure out how to do it just inside a Boxit. And this is something that you can't do anyway. Somebody asked me, I said I've made these before, and I made a bridge, and I made it look like stone. And it does look pretty cool. So laser jump start, and I just made this to put inside of it. I'll put the link. This is like the third recent video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it inside a Boxit. So I just drew a pedestal type effect. But before I use pedestal, right here, I'm going to just use Boxit. And what I was doing wrong, I need to have this checked right here. So we've got 1/8 inch wood, 1/4 inch tabs, 1 inch height. I changed this to, this should be 4. I'm actually going to play around more with this in another video. 4 works perfect on my laser. You know, you could have, mine is an epilogue, you could have two 60-watt epilogues side by side and they might have a different curve because that has to do with focus and a lot of different things. So I'm just going to hit OK and watch what this does. It makes that right there, that easy. Now, you only have to do these. This is the top and the bottom. These are the two sides. You only have to do this to one of them, one each. And so we're just going to get rid of this. Now I'm going to just draw this the way I did, and it's it looks pretty good on there. I mean, so you can do it. You can look at it two ways. Are you going to draw the stones, engrave the stones, or are you going to engrave the mortar out? So all I did was take and you can reduce it in size later. I made a rectangle. And then I'm going to go up and go to object and convert it to a curve. And by doing that, when we get the shape tool, that looks awful thick. Needs to be a hairline. I'm using somebody else's program, I guess, when I started. So now it's a curve. So we can take the shape tool and we can just kind of select it all, right click and turn them into a curve. And by doing that, now you get handles. And I'm just going to kind of bring in this corner and then bring it out. I'm just trying to make it look kind of like a rock shape. And we could also round these corners off. You know what? That might have been a good start. Let's do that. So before we turned it into a curve, you can see it's a curve on 4 nodes. So I need to go back as a rectangle. I need to go back and turn it into I've lost my hairline right now because I've got so much stuff up there. So I'm going to go, well, I'm just going to go down and make hairline. Now, before we do anything, I'm going to go right here, radius, and I'm going to start. This is locked, so it's going to do all 4 corners. I'm just going to put a little corner on it. Now I can go up to arrange and convert it to a curve. And by doing that, now what I can do is take these 2 top nodes and I can add nodes. And I could take everything and turn it into a curve and then see what I'm doing, and it just kind of change the shape of the rock a little bit. And you might want one corner, see it added a bunch of nodes, take those out and maybe bring one out. Maybe you don't want anything really sharp, but you want to make it kind of look like a rock. And see, I'm just kind of spanning those out so they're not perfect. And then you could just add nodes by double clicking on the line and kind of make it like a rock shape. Bring that down, bring that out, double click on that line, kind of twist it. And it looks pretty good. But what I maybe would do is take the smoothing tool, click on it, and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Don't make it quite so obvious. Now this thing is, we're going to make it 0.5 long. And by doing that, now I can change my nudge factor to 0.55. Control D and make a duplicate. That's too much. Let's go 0.52. And let's just move that over. Make a copy and nudge it over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it upside down. Well, I made another copy. So I don't want them to look identical, so I'm going to turn it over. Now I can plus key and go double. And of course, you might want to turn those backwards. And you can kind of see that we almost have enough, but I'm going to leave it like that. I think that's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, it's 0.27 big, so I'm going to make it 0.28, and I'm going to make a duplicate. I'm going to move that down, and then I'm definitely going to turn these around. And my nudge isn't enough, and that looks really flat. Yeah, that looks too flat. Let's kind of, I could just start over. So what I'm going to do, the bottom is just way too flat. And that might have been, I just smoothed it out too much. And, add a node there and just kind of do like that. Okay, that's good. Now we're at 0.51, I think. Yep, that's perfect. And then just do a bunch of them. But take this one and mirror it upside down. Take this one mirror, because you don't want them to be identical, and it wouldn't hurt you, if you really want to take some time, change one of them or two a little bit differently, but I'm not going to do that for the video. And if we remember, we were 0.27, we're going to go 0.28, and we're going to hit the plus key and move it down. But then I'm going to mirror them, because I don't want them like that. It's not quite enough, so I'm going to move it down a little bit. And this looks too symmetrical, so I'm going to nudge it over the other way. Well, let's flip it by itself. There we go. Maybe flip these by themselves. The ones that looks not too bad. Now I'm just going to do this by hand. I just hit the plus key. And also, I didn't think about what I need to do here. I need to set the bricks off staggeredly, or bricks or rocks, whatever you're going to call them. And that's going to help. Now we need a few more, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus key again and move this down. That looks pretty good. Now, yeah, we got plenty of coverage. The way I would do it is, let's zoom in here, and let's take this shape, hold down the shift key and double click on a rectangle tool. Now we want it like to the top, just barely. It's hard to move sometimes, just something minutely little movement. But we want to bring, and see, I need this two-sided arrow. I want to bring these in a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is take my fill, I'm going to go ahead and make it black, and I'm going to fill that in, and look at that. Now we're too big there, so let's back up. Maybe I should take this and bring it right to the edge of the other bricks. And it doesn't matter. Take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. We're a little bit bad at the bottom, but that's fine. Now we're going to take the Smart Fill. Now what I do like, and remember we just have to do one of these. Now we need to turn this one perpendicular, because this is a side. And there's two trains of thought. Do you want them perfectly equal? Do you want this one to be the same edge of the rock? So what you could do is make a copy of that, holding down the control button. Now you don't have to match that, but now let's grab both these and intersect it. And when I did that, I'm going to change my nudge factor to like 2 inches. And I'm going to grab that. There's our cut line. Now see the difference? This is a cut line. So what we're going to do, go ahead and do both of them and intersect it. And the intersect tool just does that. So now what we got to do, and this is the only really kind of tricky part, we want to fill in, because we don't want those cut lines in there. So I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and put black right there. and just kind of look around and make sure it's all black. And then let's nudge that out of the way. Then take your box part and nudge it out of the way. Now I would delete this, take your smart fill tool, fill that in, nudge it out of the way, take your box part, nudge it out of the way. Now remember I said you just need to do 2 of them? Well, make a duplicate of that, and there's both sides. Make a duplicate of that and do both sides. Then you've still got your top and your bottom that don't need to have bricks on it. And I've done this a lot. I've made train sets with bridges going over, and it really adds to it. And if you're wondering what this dusty pad is, that's my sanding pad. It's basically a router pad, basically to put inside your kitchen drawer. When you're sanding off this thin pieces of wood, it keeps it from sliding and vibrating. But if you cut that out, and you could make it any height, I just remember what I started with, and I'm going to hit F4 on the keyboard. I went way out. Anyway, so check Laser Jumpstart out. I'm not promoting their product. I'm just telling you what's out there. I love it. I had it about 15 years ago, and I just got it back this week. But I'm just showing, this is just on Boxit. And there's a lot of stuff it can do. There's programs out there that can draw a box, but you can't draw that. You cannot draw that shape. Anyway, hope that helped that person that asked, and thank you for watching.